From one side of the argument being Lindsay was ice cold, she showed no emotion, that's who she truly is, versus Lindsay was finally fed up. I'm glad she didn't go in on her, she didn't have to. Like, you can tell she's just over it. Now, when you watched this scene, what did you see?
Lindsay's ice cold.
What?
Yeah. I I
We're
I
about to,
got
we might go to
sociopathic
blows.
vibes
We
from
might go
that.
to blows.
I get it that you're fed up from it, but this is possibly, and I'm not saying that Danielle's right at all. Her actions this
All right,
summer have
cool.
been
Thank you.
atrocious.
Thank you.
She made everything about her. I get it. I think that emotionally Danielle is completely fucked up. And she has no idea how to deal with those emotions. And now she's alone again. Her fucking boyfriend, ex boyfriend, whatever, kind of left her out to dry because he's never fucking there. So she has no support except for the women in the house who aren't, again, let's make sure that people know this. They are not really supporting Danielle. They are
No, they're
just
mean
supporting
girls.
opposing Lindsay.
Absolutely.
However, watching that scene was rough. Lindsay was fucking smiling. And you
Lindsay
can't tell
deserved.
me,
Fuck that.
no
I would have been the
way.
same fucking
There is
way.
no way she is smirking and smiling, understanding what Danielle is a fucking, she's gone. She's emotionally dead.
Yeah.
She has no idea what the fuck's going on. This was supposed to be your best friend for years. I don't even care about, did you leave her out of your relationship and not really include her at all in your friendship at all for the last 6 months? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But if you're standing there and your supposed best friend for the last couple of years is staring there and actually like freaking the fuck out, and you can sit there and smile at it, there's something wrong with you. There is something. She is, I'm not going to go as far to call her a monster as I would have a couple hours ago, but when I watched it, I felt really weird. And I do not like that. I don't, I think that Carl is the emotional one. And it brought me back to what Lindsay said. You got to face the music. You got to do this and that. I think Lindsay thrives on this shit. I think she loves it.
My counterpoint to you, this is the same conversation that Danielle has attempted to have on multiple occasions this summer. Nothing about it's different. The way that she brought it up was the same exact way. It's off the cuff, it's not good timing. It comes out of left field, and then she expects to have this emotional conversation. Now, the first time it happened, when they were at the pool together, she airs out her grievances with Lindsay. Lindsay does the same in return. They seem to meet in the middle. Lindsay says, I'm sorry if I wasn't there. Danielle says that she's going to work on being more supportive, whatever. They seem to at least come to an agreement. The next time Lindsay sees Danielle, the first thing she says, how are you? Checks in on her. We see another scene. How are you? Checks in on her. Is that like a huge step forward? No. But it is at least making an adjustment to say, hey, are you good? I'm checking in on you, just like you told me you wanted me to do. What has Danielle altered that Lindsay said to her? Because throughout the whole summer, we hear her say one thing to Lindsay, I'm so supportive. I'm so happy. We see her actions are completely different from that. We see her with the Mean Girl crew, who, by the way, them piling up behind the corner like that, like you said, that's not in support of Danielle. That's to hear the drama because they live off of that shit. And that's to just throw it in Lindsay's face. See, we're supportive. This is what friendship is. This is what friendship is. Whatever. Now, for Danielle in that moment to bring it up to Lindsay and form it and present it in the same exact way that she already has, I think I would have reacted the same. Now, were the smirks necessary? No. Would I have gotten emotionally involved and given her a response? Probably not. I probably would have done the same thing. You know what, dude? We've done this song and dance. You haven't changed at all. You're talking shit behind my back frequently. You screamed into a pillow and then you're upset when you're not involved in the
I
ceremony of
don't
it
think
all.
Carl told her that she screamed into the pillow.
I guarantee Carl told her that
I
she
don't
screamed into the
know
pillow.
because
Not
she
maybe
would have
not on
brought it up.
camera, but regardless of that, she has enough evidence to the contrary for her to be like, you were not excited. At no point in this summer were you supportive, and she was not. She was a train wreck all year to the point where I think there's more to it. There's got to be something else that we do not know about that is causing this level of reaction from Danielle because it does not compute. The math don't math. To get this amped up, this emotionally involved, this upset doesn't make sense. I understand they were best friends, but Danielle, if you cannot at all take a step back and see where you fell short, how you did not do right by your friend, and to see that this reaction, maybe it's too cold, maybe it's not fully warranted, but if you can't take some form of responsibility in this moment and understand why this is happening, at least to a certain extent, I would have done the same exact thing. I might have just said, I'm not doing this and walked out the door
Mhm.
because I don't want to deal with
But
hearing it
what
again.
you've said in the last 2 minutes is way more than Lindsay said during that conversation.
She didn't owe her anything.
I understand that, and I'm not defending Danielle. Once again, I have to say it. I am not picking
You're a
either
Dan Stan.
Dan Stan. I am not picking either side on this. I think obviously Danielle has laid out all of these things that we can say she is entirely wrong. But Lindsay, to say that it's from left field is wrong. She walked into that house and she said, I know I have to have a conversation with Danielle. So she expected it. She knew what was going on, and I think that she knew how she was going to react to this. Two, I think that both Lindsay and Carl are a little full of shit when it comes to the Danielle aspect. They are playing the we wanted it to be a surprise thing. Danielle is upset that she found out 30 minutes before it
She
happens.
should have found out
That's
30 minutes
fine.
before
I
it
get
happened.
it. But hold on. I'll ask you this.
Okay.
If Danielle didn't have that conversation with Carl where she screamed into the pillow, if she was just looked like a lost puppy just trying to find her friends and didn't do all of those things, do you think that Lindsay and Carl would have included her into their plans?
I don't know.
Not a fucking
I
chance in
don't
hell. I'm
know.
telling you that right now because they did not make an effort to be friends with her earlier in the season.
Because of her.
We don't know that.
Fuck that, dude.
Before the cameras started rolling, they were already losing their friendship. What
Because
happened?
they're in a relationship.
Okay, you're fucking married. Do you think that you're not friends with me anymore? Do you think I'm not friends with your
I'm
wife?
not saying you can't
No,
be
there
friends. The
is some
dynamic
bullshit
changes.
on Carl and Lindsay's aspect.
Okay, I'm
They
not.
lost touch with their friend. I'm again not excusing Danielle's actions
It sounds
throughout
like
the
you
fucking
are.
season. However, I think that there is some bullshit to be played at, and I think that Lindsay is ringleading a little bit here.
I am not by any means saying that both sides of the street are not guilty here. I'm
Yes, you
not.
are. You're
I
saying
am
that
not.
only Danielle is.
I'm
You're
not.
saying that you're excusing
Am
all
I
of
allowed to
Lindsay's
talk?
except for the
Am I allowed to
smirks.
talk?
No,
Am I allowed to talk?
absolutely not. I think that Lindsay knew exactly how this conversation was going to go,
Good.
and
No.
the coldness of it, I get it if you're over it. There is what you portray when you're over something, and you did it very nicely, where you said, "Look, I'm not having this conversation right now. It's not any different than what we had before. I'm leaving. Boom, done, over with." She didn't do that. She sat there and listened to her and fucking smiled. She doesn't give a shit. She's cold.
I'm saying throughout the summer, you dick, throughout the summer, I'm not saying that there's not blame on both sides. I'm saying in this conversation, I don't think Lindsay's wrong to be ice cold. I think it's played out. I think we've seen this song and dance. We know how it's going to go. Danielle, for all of the other shit aside, okay? Whether you think that it was warranted or not, the sole factor is you made your bed, you got to lie in it. This is a product of your actions throughout the summer. Could they have been warmer towards her? Probably. Yeah. I'm sure that there's stuff we don't know, and I'm sure there's stuff we don't see. I'm not vindicating anybody. Nobody's innocent here. I'm saying that Danielle's behavior throughout the summer has been intolerable. And to see somebody at their wits' end and not diving into it emotionally anymore makes complete sense to me.
I don't think that Lindsay has dove into it emotionally the entire summer. I think Carl has. Carl has taken the brunt of the emotions and the ex friendship with Danielle. Lindsay hasn't done a goddamn thing.